Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is someone who wishes they could go back to a time when a sandwich and a large slice of chocolate cake only cost $8.75. It's Zanandi Boetis.
I don't think I've ever ordered cake, not even chocolate, cake at a bar. It's like she's she's ordering chocolate cake. Where are these people? Like we don't have
Seattle in
cake
the
at our
90s.
bars.
Yeah,
Wow, Seattle in the 90s, man. What a time to be alive.
just
We
like
don't have that here. I can't order cake at a bar. It makes me sad.
just gigantic cups of cappuccino, ridiculously large cake, sandwiches. Everyone's packed out in bars at like 12 o'clock.
Yeah, playing
Uh,
pool. Like these kids are like, yeah, gonna be late for English Lit. Let's quickly hop into the bar, like ogle at the guys playing pool and order some chocolate cake. I mean, that's the life.
it's
Uh,
That's what I wish I had that in high school. I would go to this restaurant that had $1 breakfasts, and I would get three of them. Like that
yes,
was that's what I did when I went for lunch. Now I just want to give
right.
you a quick heads up. So there's a character in this film called Logan, total dirtball, but I'm going to call him Scud because I've decided in
Uh,
all of my notes for some reason I just decided his name was Scud. So if you hear me talking about the guy Logan, who is the one that that Margot likes, just know that Scud is Logan. Everybody, just want to give you a heads up.
I approve this because, like, that is not a character named Logan. No Logan looks like that. That is a Scud. Also, heads up, if I talk about Marky Mark, I'm referring to Mark and not Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, so I'm Marky Mark, not
You're
Mark.
Marky Mark. You're Marky Mark. I don't care. You're Marky Mark. Mark Wahlberg is Wahlberg.
I like
Which
Wahlburgers and Marky Mark.
Wahlburgers?
I've been to a Wahlburgers. I've been to a Wahlburgers and had a Wahlburger.
Wait, is this an actual place?
Yeah, it's a restaurant in the states
Oh,
here. Yeah, the one of
oh,
the Wahlbergs opened up a Wahlburgers, and now they're around the country.
oh. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
learn something new every day.
burgers and beer.
Good burgers? Is it
I
good?
mean,
Rate your top five burger joints in America.
oh gosh, but I will say In and Out. I love In and Out. Whenever I went to California, I would go to an In and Out burger, but it was a novelty. Like I didn't order it all the time.
Yeah.
There's a place called BurgerFi that I like. But
Okay.
that's more memories because like when we bought our house, Megan and I like went out driving around, checking out the area. We like went and caught a movie and then found a BurgerFi and had a beer and a burger and just kind of talked about life. And it's just a good memory. So those
Nice.
two, not Five Guys. I haven't had Whataburger in a long time. I haven't had a Whopper. No Big Macs. There's like craft burgers. There's like Red Robin. They're all fine. Like I don't.
They're
There's
all
like
fine.
they're all fine. Like it's
It's
some people are like,
interesting. So I mean, I've been to California and I've tried In and Out and I've had Five Guys, and Corey and I could not get enough of the Five Guys burger. Five Guys burger with a lemonade. Yes, please. That was like we had fun. We had lots of fun. Lots of like luncheons.
hmm. I guess I grew up near Five Guys. Or not like I had Five Guys at my available.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you
It
kind of
was
take it for
good.
granted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm not a big burger person.
no.
Listen, I'm not. I
Mm-mm.
don't. I mean, here I hardly ever eat a burger. I'll eat a burger like once a year. But oh my gosh, yeah, Five Guys and breakfast burritos and your lemonade, your sugar water. I loved it. I I really appreciated it. I miss it. Like I have friends who stay in America, and when they come and visit, they bring me your cornbread mixes because I
Yeah.
love the cornbread. It's freaking amazing.
Do you like the sweet cornbread or like the dry cornbread?
I like the sweet one, actually. Like, yeah, I'm not much of a sweet tooth, but oh, it's I don't know, it's good stuff. It's just really good. But
The
also
thing,
I don't actually mind. Like I've had both. I don't actually mind. Like, and they're nice because they bring me the gluten-free ones.
hey,
All fancy.
the one thing I do miss about Five Guys is like when you ordered fries, they just stuffed an entire bag full of them,
Right.
like just like a comical amount. Like you're not even
Yeah,
eating
I
all
never
these.
finished the fries.
Yeah,
I never, it was like too much for me.
they
Like,
hand it to you and say good luck.
yeah. No, but
Like,
your burgers are actually great. Like your beef in general isn't bad. It's not bad. It's
I'm not a
okay.
beefer. I'm a fish, salmon, and chicken.
Oh yeah, listen, I'm big on fish. Like I always said, yeah, like I can like skip the meats, but I'm a pescatarian. Don't tell me I can't eat my fish. Don't tell
That's
me I
right.
can't eat it.
Have you ever been to Seattle?
No, no. I've only been to California and Austin, Texas.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I miss working in Austin. I had a good time out there.
Oh gosh, we actually flew in for the weekend because we went to watch Queens of the Stone Age.
Ooh.
And so we were just like there for 2 days. But oh wow, what a lovely, lovely place. The people were so friendly and so chatty, and it was hot as shit, but it was really, really cool. And I mean, this was like in April. This was like this time, what, 5 years ago now? Sure. Yeah, before COVID. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Austin's
also
cool.
right. But yeah, we did the whole California. We kind of did a whole trip thing there. So, but didn't see like Seattle, Washington, where our movie today
You get some good
is
fish in Seattle, not in Fear. If you're in Seattle, you go down to the marketplace, get some good fish.
nice,
Yeah, just want
nice.
and some coffee.
Oh yeah, Seattle coffee, the big thing, the
This
big
movie's
thing.
crazy.
It's so
Okay,
good they branded it.
can I tell you something? In 96, I watched this movie. And I was like, I just thought it was gonna be a movie, right? Like
Yeah,
you go watch Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction, and you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be crazy because it's Tarantino, right? Like, and I saw the trailers for this. I'm like, oh, probably like a fun little, like stalker
yeah,
film, like a little,
yeah.
trashy thriller. I was like, holy moly! Like this movie, there's dog heads.
Woo!
Mark Wahlburgers gets thrown 35 feet out of a window. There's a dad who's possessive. There's a boyfriend who's possessive. Gary gets his neck snapped. Alyssa Milano, they just like old horrible men get her hooked on drugs and like use her.
Exactly.
Uh,
The stepmom calls the daughter a slut. Like
yeah,
there's a lot. There's this the little boy saves the day.
he
It's
kills a guy.
he runs over a guy. Like Corey and I was like, do it again, do it again.
The roller
But
coaster
like that poor
scene.
kid. Like
Like,
he's so messed up
yeah,
now.
he's
He's
done.
so messed up. He was
Done.
living in a bubble. And now it's like, oh, all the therapy for you, my boy. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that bubble got burst. And it's,
Yep.
I mean, just, geez Louise. Like his room,
Yeah,
and then he starts
it
punching himself and he
does.
screams into the people. That was an outtake. That wasn't even the movie. Like Brian Grazer, the producer, was like, he saw that. He's like, no, that needs to be in the movie. So they like put it back in.
Yeah.
And it's just this movie, like the dad, he's very like the opening shot of Reese Witherspoon. She's 16 years old, her character, and she's in the shower. It's like
Yeah.
so 90s. You're like, oh, cool.
Sounds yeah,
We're ogling a
90s
high schooler in the shower, a 16-year
trashy
old.
thriller.
And it like the dad is like he has daddy's girl and he's all possessive and like weird, and then he starts messing with Mark Wahlberg, but he's in over his head. Like, and then he
Exactly.
trashes their house. What an idiot. Like this whole
I know,
movie,
right?
like
Like you could just not have done that.
like like you're so like, but you know what though? That dude probably thinks he's like, king shit. You're like, I'm the best. And like, no, man, like there's some weird people out there that you should stay away from. There are
Exactly.
levels to this game, and you are not on that level.
I
And
think
it
that's pretty much the theme of the movie. Like everyone's bubbles just get burst, you know? It's like, okay, the first time dad, and then he's got a teenage daughter, which we know is the whole thing. I mean, even the stepmom, like it shows how, like even the stepmom, I mean, she's a boy mom, and now she's got this stepdaughter that she doesn't know what to do. I mean, like that stepmom though. I mean, like, okay, so wearing makeup is slutty because like feeling pretty and attractive isn't okay, but using it to cover bruises and black eyes, that's okay. Makeup is okay for that. Like, uh, it's just like it shows how like Reese's character, she just doesn't have like any parental figure helping her
no,
out here, like understanding her, like being like a
yeah,
role model or anything. They're all just like terrible at this, but they're also learning, like, and I think that's the thing with this movie. Because I mean, initially, like, yeah, critics trashed it and whatever, but like, yeah, in retrospect and stuff, you go watch this movie, and you're like, yeah, I mean, it's the anxieties of like, not only being a teenage girl and dating who knows who the hell you're dating. I love how she's like in the beginning, like, yeah, I actually didn't think you were like this, like so sweet. I'm like, yeah, girl, go with your guts. Go with your gut feeling. Girls, trust your gut feelings. Like, but then you also have the parents, like, not knowing how to deal with this. Like, dads are like, why are you dressing like you're still 12? And I'm like, well, why are you seeing me like I'm still 12? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
very clever. It's actually, it's got some layers to it, which is pretty cool. And also that whole thing of you don't know who you're dealing with, you know? Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's such a, it's a real thriller. It's a thriller of a movie. It's just a thrill to watch. I mean, we've got the iconic roller coaster scene. That shame. Poor Reese, like, said she was actually so
yeah.
uncomfortable with it because it wasn't in the script. And she actually asked for a body double because she was just like, nah. Like,
Good for her on that. Like,
I'm good for her. Exactly. She actually said years later, like that, you know, like kind of was a learning curve for her on, yeah, how she doesn't want to just like do stuff and focus on the male gaze or whatever. Like, but, you know, take actual like the agency back. But I mean, yeah, iconic roller coaster scene. It's funny for me because Wild Horses, the original, the Rolling Stones Wild Horses, like not the Sundays, like it was actually our wedding song. So, but it's also the song of the roller coaster scene in Fear. So yeah, every time I watch it, I just giggle. But I mean, what a great scene still. What I do like about the scenes where they get like a bit hot and heavy, which is, I mean, it's twice that they really show it. It's not this panting, overdrawn out like stuff. It's actually pretty quick and done, you know, which is different from like other type of trashy films that we've discussed.
yeah.
The
Or Matt
last
Dillon's like,
couple, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just like everyone panting like their dogs and whatever. Um,
It's
but yeah, like it's also, oh, it's so creepy. I mean, the whole thing with Alyssa Milano, oh my word. It's, yeah, every time I watch it, it's, oh, nah, that's wrong. It's wrong. Get off her. Leave her alone.
you could
And
actually
now
learn
she's,
some things from this movie if you paid attention. Like if you watched it,
exactly.
like the red
Exactly.
flags are there. He's like, Nicole, get me a Coke. And then he stares
Yeah.
at like when Steven's watching Alyssa Milano, like creepy David's like, yeah. And
Yeah.
he just you can see that about him. And
Yeah.
like he's like, oh yeah, I had to beat up I had to beat up this foe. She's like, Gary? Like he's just so I didn't do it for you. I had to protect you. And like he's just using all those lines. And it's just like him like just working his way into this family. But you know what though? Like this it's an interesting thing where like I think some dads just hate any boyfriend that they meet because they're just
Sure.
like that kind of jealous dad. But
Yeah.
then it's really bad when you are a jealous dad and your daughter is dating a psychopath and you're kind of like, this guy's not right. But you've been so protective for like so long that
Exactly.
that
And like the
you've
first boyfriend, because this is, it sounds like her first actual serious like thing, right?
mm,
So her very first boy, you're this protective dad, and the first boyfriend is this absolute sociopath,
an
like
adult. He's an adult.
also an adult.
Your daughter's 16. That's crazy. This is but I guess
Wild.
but but it's it's very memorable. You read any comment section and people are always talking about the roller coaster scene, the doorbell scene. It kind of
Yes.
it's kind of interesting. I feel like it sort of burrowed its way into many people's brains, and then it hit Netflix, jumped in the top 10. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, like holy crap!" Like it's one of those films. Because I'm telling you, I was not ready for this when I watched it. Like I thought it was just going to be another movie, and then like there's a
Time.
like that dude's head pops through the dog doors, like you're next, and just like and then he starts pounding his chest, and he has a bruise, and then like the dad, like
I never knew Marky Mark could be that scary until I, sorry, Mark Wahlberg, until
I'm
I
super
watched
scary.
Fear. Because I didn't watch Fear back in the 90s. I watched it later and I was like, he's actually really freaking me out. That old door scene, nah, nah.
Yeah.
It's very memorable. And like, I mean, I've watched it a couple of times now and it keeps on being extremely entertaining. It's one of those movies where you know, it's not a background movie. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't look away. It keeps sucking you in. The pacing is fantastic. stuff happens. Scenes are packed. Like we can literally dissect this movie like scene by scene, like we do with Deep Blue Sea and on the Deep Blue Sea pod and stuff. Because there are some really good scenes. Like you brought up the one where like he's up in the dad's like office space, him and Alyssa's character. And I mean, everything that happens there, little looks, little here and there, like little comments, when he says, "Yeah, get me a Coke," and the dad's like, "Oh, that's very like demanding." Like, it's just a look that he gives, but it comes through. Like it's good acting, it's good scene work,
Mm-hmm.
really good scene work. Yeah, I think in a lot of ways it's an underrated movie because there's actually some good stuff in there. Yeah, it might be like this like crazy over the top story, like especially where it goes, by the final act. But yeah, there's a lot and it gets it right because you do feel creeped out. You are like, "Ooh, no, this is wrong. Get out. Like, get away from this guy. Don't give him the code to the house." Oh, girls, don't ever do that. Don't
Trouble.
ever give a man the code to your house. Ever. Don't do it.
And this did a good job of blending Mark Wahlberg's. He's very earnest, but then it also sort of blended his. I've never seen this side from him before. Again, like he's never really
Yeah.
done this again. He's kind of leaned into like, oh shucks, like very earnest, very not all shucksy, but like if you watch him in some of the movies, just very, for lack of a better term, earnest or like quiet. Like, but yeah, this one, man, he hasn't really done it since. And you're
Maybe
watching
the
this
other
movie,
guys a little bit.
oh,
Maybe
little
the other guys a little bit.
like
No,
getting
when he starts
loud and
flirting with Eva Mendes, like, yeah, I mean, I mean, I know that's
bye,
for comedy, but still,
bye.
I think a little bit of David comes out. Like,
Has she asked about me? Has she asked about me?
yeah, I love
Uh,
that movie.
but yeah, I mean, like Reese Witherspoon's really good in it. Wahlberg's
Yeah.
good in it. I mean, the cast is solid. And I guess my one question for you is, like, who is this movie for? Because it's 50% William Petersen as a architect who likes to run through the woods and gets way over his head. He's having some kind of relationship problems with his new wife because he's really busy. But then there's Reese Witherspoon, who you have a first love, and then she
Yeah, it's her whole
then it becomes
journey.
a stalker film, and then it becomes like a home invasion film. Like, who is this? Who is this meant for?
I think this was meant for parents taking their teenagers to the movie for a family outing.
Oh, oh man, would you imagine how uncomfortable that would be?
Right? Like you immediately think about the roller coaster scene. It's like, oh my gosh.
I would immediately look at my daughter if she was like 17 and be like, "Hey, do you want to talk?" Like,
Yeah, like
I'm not
let's have
I'm
a
not being
conversation
Peterson.
after
Am I
this. And
am
like,
I am I
Dad,
that bad of a
no,
dad?
no.
I would leave the theater. I'm like, I'm going to Transformers. I will see you later. Like, I'm out. Enjoy.
Go watch something else immediately afterwards.
Like, like, is it for adults? Is it for kids? Like, who is it? Because it's hard R.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I think personally it's for like younger adults,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I mean,
There's a lot of
listen, it's
Peterson in
the
this movie.
90s. And we had some gnarly movies in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, for who is this? Because it's not really for kids, but the kids are watching it. You bet we were watching it, like whenever we could get our hands on it. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good question because it does have a light. I kind of like that it has a light. Sometimes movies can be really messy when it's like, oh gosh, like you say, now it's this, now it's that. But sometimes it works for me. And in this scenario, it did because I feel like this was just a roller coaster ride of a crazy story. Just like, yeah, having fun with these characters and pushing like, where they can go. I mean, the dog thing, I did not expect that. Nothing about the movie told me that I was going to see a bearded dog at the end. Like, there was no sign of that. Like I say, even like the sexual scenes and stuff, it wasn't that heavy. It wasn't nothing too in your face. So that dog poor Kaiser. Like I was not ready for that. I was like, nah, I don't know. I don't need to see this. No.
And that
But yeah,
it
that
became
was
a
what they were up
complete
against, I
it became a
guess.
completely different movie when that dog head went through that dog door. Like it's like it became like Assault on Precinct 13 or Night of the Living Dead. Like it became one of those
Exactly.
movies.
I think maybe because I did try to kind of like show how the boys were like in this gang type thing, but it didn't. I think that maybe could have come across more.
Yeah.
Then maybe could have played more with that. So that then, yeah, by the time the siege happens, we're like, okay, yes, you are under attack by guys who are really gnarly and think they control, because that's what gang leaders or gang members think. They think they can just control everything and everyone. I think, yeah, like those scenes could maybe have been padded out a bit more because they just kind of showed it like these guys are living together in a commune. It
Yeah.
wasn't really like they were just this gang. It wasn't until the dad said it to the cops over the phone.
They're a cartel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like they're running their own cartel thing. I'm like, okay, maybe they had some cutscenes that they took out. That could have kind of like, you know, but yeah, I think that might have helped because that was like, whoa, okay, this escalated quickly. We went
Like
from like punching himself in the chest to chopping a dog's head off.
and like the Alyssa Milano
Okay, and
scene, he walks up to
murdering her.
Scud. Remember when he goes
Sorry.
up to Scud and he's like, "She's mine now."
Yeah,
And like she was just riding him at a party, then he takes her. Like that's
yeah.
he,
Tell him you want me.
that's
Okay.
and here's the thing I hope people learn from this. Everyone can take care of themselves, but you do need to look at some people and be like situational awareness a little bit. Like once he beats up the guy, I'm like, just get out of there because like he's a
Get
leech. Like
out of
there
there.
really are parasites in this world. Like there are like
Exactly.
like in St. Pete, I had some crazy nights with some people, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like I was in a car with some people one time, and it was like it was ugly. Like I was like, get me out, out.
Yeah,
I was like, out.
yeah,
I like, and they were like making fun of me. I was like, I'm out of here because nothing, nowhere they went was going to be anywhere good. You know, like,
exactly.
I wasn't being a wimp. Like it wasn't just me being like I miss home. I was like, no, I need to. This is not
Yeah,
good.
need to get away from this right
Yeah.
now.
So,
Yeah.
so like,
Uh,
don't just because they're doing that, don't judge them. But also, like maybe so. I hope some people watch this and they're like, oh, okay, here are the red flags, and like these red flags are here. It's interesting how they kind of take their time leading into the red flags, but once they do, it's like, ah, like it's just a green
uh,
light. Once that
right.
happens, it just goes
Yeah.
crazy.
Exactly. And like, I mean, it's a very 90s movie because I think of like kids today, and I think in general it's uh, it's different, but I mean, obviously there are situations where it's still the same. Because like with Alyssa Milano's character, I mean, she like from the beginning talks about, oh, but don't you like want to feel that power of being wanted by guys, of being lust after and that whole thing? And I mean, that is a thing that you as a girl go through because like when you learn, okay, so attraction and whatnot, and some people like some people, and all of those crazy games and shenanigans that I do not miss personally
Mm-mm.
at all. But like yeah, with her also like yeah, I mean she has a mom that's always off somewhere chasing a rich guy anyway. So like yeah, she just like wants to feel wanted, but I mean that can get you can get yourself in such a sticky situation.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think back in the day, I think that was more the norm, where it was like, yes, you, a woman, must be the object of desire for a man. Where I mean, we've definitely progressed
Some,
some.
but I think it's better than the early 2000s, 90s by like
Absolutely.
some. I'm not. People are like, we've it's over. You know, like
Yeah,
it's
it's not over, but it's yeah, I think we've definitely it's not as bad or prevalent, I think, as it was in the 90s, which again makes this a very 90s movie, you
mm-hmm.
know, because I mean back then I think this was way more of a thing with like, yeah, I mean, yeah,
That
young
makes
kids
sense.
growing up and trying to understand where they fit into society, where they fit into social groups, and and all of that. I
Like
think that's yeah.
look at she's all that. Like, you just take off her overalls and she's pretty.
Exactly. Like we grew up with that nonsense,
That was like
like
mainstream
I
nonsense.
mean
Like that,
even Mean Girls, like
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of like the beginning of breaking all of those ideas down of no, you don't have to do this or dress like this or say these things or what to be popular and be desired by whoever. Like, I mean, no, we grew up in gnarly times.
Mm-hmm. I don't miss the vibe of the early 2000s. We
No,
had that like Girls Gone Wild and Spring Break and Dane Cook. Just it was so
viral.
it was so aggressive and kind of it
I
was
felt
very
very out
bro.
of place back
Yeah.
then. I mean, I was like a teenager still back then, and I was like, "What is happening? I don't, I can't relate."
It was
I just
bad. Like Britney
like,
Spears, right? Christina Aguilera. Like it was just such
yeah,
a
like
bad
everyone,
time.
yeah, and show skin. You had to show skin, and like, I'm like, no, I don't want it. I don't want anyone to see my belly button.
Oh yeah, crop tops were everywhere. Jeez Louise.
Crop tops. Oh my gosh.
I was telling
I
Megan the other day that like 90s fashion is back, but I don't want early 2000s fashion to come back. Like, guys, let's
dude.
avoid that. Let's not go
Yes,
back
let's
to that.
please, we beg of you.
But yeah, I don't know. I think what's interesting too, the 90s, it was very, I'm not saying it was great, but it was a different kind of like I think in 99 with like American Pie and those kinds of movies and like
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit and all that kind of stuff. It's sort of that era sort of changed, I think.
Mm.
It like for a few years there. So like I'm yeah, like that,
I
yeah.
always joke and say, like, I think everyone was so paranoid with the Y2K, and then that didn't happen, and people were like, "Oh gosh, we didn't think this through. What are we gonna do now?" And then we just had some crap going out, like
Oh, we didn't have anything planned.
we
But
didn't plan. We thought we were going to die.
why do you think critics didn't like this movie? Like just the crazy ending because it's well performed. It's like three movies in one. It does take a quick turn, but the number one thing about this movie that I like is that it's not generic. Like you watch this film and there's some memorable moments, and I think it separates
Absolutely.
itself from a
I
lot of
mean,
other
it's
films.
exactly. And it's a classic one where, Gene Siskel didn't like it, but Bieber did, and I think that sums it up. I
Yeah.
think, like some people weren't feeling it. They were more into some of the like maybe better movies coming out that year or whatever. I mean, I think we see it still, it happens. I think critics get caught up in what is out there. So if they've just watched an art masterpiece and then you give them something like Fear, they're gonna be like, oh,
Hmm. And they aren't going to look at those
um,
little looks in the Coca-Cola scene and the that you're right. That one scene tells a lot of stories. Like,
that is such a good
like
scene.
is he looking at like okay, I have a question. Is Petersen, I'm sorry, Stephen Walker, is he ogling Margot or is he more just like ugh? Like because he plays it kind of a couple ways where he's like it's so obvious that she's doing that and he's looking at it like he's not looking away, but he's also not going, yeah, but he's more like
I think he's a bit
Margot.
dumbfounded in a
Yeah.
way. Like he almost can't believe, like he's processing, what am I seeing? But then he's also being a man with a natural reaction. And I think that's like messing with his head. And he's just like, what? And then Wahlberg is like, yeah, man. And he's like, no,
No.
what? Because I feel like he's more just flabbergasted in that scene. Like he doesn't know how to actually, and I think that is a age thing. Like, he's surrounded by these younger people, realizing he's good. I mean, the first shot of him is where he is running and staying cardio fit in the woods where he lives, which we are going to talk about
Hey,
now
do
because I
do
have
you
some
work out? Do you go to the
questions.
gym?
Like, like,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, also, it would have actually helped if they showed him pump some iron to make sense of him throwing Wahlberg out of that window in the
35
end.
feet.
So strong. Lifts him up, throws him. Mark Wahlberg isn't tiny in this movie. He's jacked. Like, I'm like, wow, Papa's strong. But yeah, like kind of, like, yeah, realizing he's the older man in the situation with these young people becoming young adults. And it's like just the whole mind fuck, really.
Yeah, but it's good acting in that scene.
It's
Like,
good
what he does
acting.
there is really good.
Exactly.
And like that scene where like Mark Wahlberg's kissing Reese Witherspoon and looking at him, like
So gross.
like you know,
Sucking her face
like,
and looking her dad in the eye. Who does that?
but he doesn't
I would
overplay
see
it.
red, Mark.
What?
I would see red.
Yeah.
If that was me, if I was the parent in that situation, I would see red. I would lose it.
And Marky plays it so well though. Like he doesn't overplay it. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's a good shit kicking stare that he has at him.
Yeah.
It's not it's not too
Yeah.
mustache twirling, but it's also very mustache twirling. Like there's
Yeah.
little moments that everyone plays it really well in this. Like when they meet at the party, I'm like, you know, are you gonna dance? No one's asked me to yet. Like they have good chemistry there. And then I have to see stupid Scud dancing, and it's terrible. But they,
Right?
like,
That's not even dancing. I'm
yeah,
also like, why would this guy be on the dance floor? He does not look like Scud. Scud didn't work for me. He was probably the weakest character of
yeah.
all. He
Like
didn't make sense for me in any of the contexts.
like
Like,
Alyssa Milano walks into the place and she goes, "Yeah, him." And you're like,
yeah, he's the hard
"What?"
one. I'm like, what? This greaseball that, like, I mean,
Even by grunge standards.
even by grunge standards, that is like a nah.
Mm-mm.
Like, nah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me. That
just
was weird.
good. Like that was
But I guess
odd.
she just wanted to be like a rebel. It would have been funny if they just showed like one picture of Alyssa's dad and he looked like Scud.
It's good. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Like she's in
Right?
her
Like he's
room.
also like a rocker or something with long hair or like something like that. Like, yeah, got that grunge rock look.
No, thank you, Scud. I was not a
No,
fan of his at
no.
all. But
When he like looked at Reese and pointed at her, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this guy? What is this guy even?
Scud.
Yeah, it's good.
But like you know, then and also he and his daughter they have a couple of conversations when he's like, "I'm 40. I have 40 years of data to process. You only have 16." She's like, "You need a faster chip." You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, geez, Louise." But it's still, I don't know. Like there's some interesting relationships between them because Nicole's not a bad kid.
No.
No, like she's a good kid. She just has, like
Yeah.
you said, she has nobody. I love that you said that Laura, her mother, stepmom, is a boy mom, and then her dad is a workaholic,
Who
and
doesn't know what to do with a teenage daughter.
yeah,
Like he can't cope with her being older than 12. Like, and
yeah.
yeah, but she's like just a good kid. Like she's, I mean, her biggest flaw might just be like her gullibility, you know? I mean,
When he turns her watch back, remember when Wahlberg does that? I'm like, that
yeah.
doesn't make it earlier. I'm like, and like that's another red flag right there. But yeah, I guess you know, you do as a teenager, you kind of do want to rebel, right? You do if
Me
someone's like
too.
no,
Oh
or
gosh, I was a huge rebel. I was like, oh, please let me live my life. Like, please let me be myself and learn myself. And I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it's this very delicate balance and line that you will soon, not too
yeah,
soon, but soon experience where yes, you need to be there for your kid and you need to protect them, but like up to a point, you need to give them the space to develop as a person, as a unique individual, because otherwise, oi, otherwise bad men will come and chop off your dog's head.
yeah. What is the moral of this film? Be a better dad, be a better stepmom, watch, look out for red flags, don't hang out with Scud, avoid Scuds.
Before it's good.
You know, if you have a friend who's trouble, stay away. Don't ditch class. Like what's the message of this movie? Is it, I don't even think there is one. It's just a fun, cheesy, trashy thriller.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's really a
Yeah,
message.
you
I
don't need a
think it's
message.
like relating with like, the father-daughter relationship. But yeah, I think more than relating, with certain stuff as a parent, as a kid, as a human that dates people and don't really know who they are or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't think it's like a big moral. I just think, yeah, it shows how a disruptive force can easily infiltrate, like manipulators can really mess up things for people. I mean, this one guy messed up this entire family. Like they'll they'll probably never feel safe again. Like, because
Never.
that was an absolute assault on their sense of security. Like they came into, so can we please talk? Because I find it hilarious that this guy is so daddy. It's all about security. Like it's this whole thing, but then, it's okay. We just cut through the woods.
Yeah, that's
We just
insane.
go through the woods. And then also, oh, can't call the security guy because the phone lines are dead. But have you ever heard of a walkie-talkie? Like, honestly, how do you have this security? How's there no backup for a phone being dead or something?
Or a
Like,
gun.
I mean, we still use walkie-talkies. Like, we still use shortwave radio. We still use all these things. Like, I'm like, your supposed amazing security, Mr. Architect. Like, I'm like, nah, let's just cut through the woods.
Well, that's the way a lot of gated communities are, though. So my in-laws used to live in a gated community up in the North Georgia mountains, and you had to drive through a gate to get in. It's kind of nice that
Yeah,
to drive through, you get checked. Like there's a camera, you get checked. But
yeah.
if you wanted, you could just park your car and walk through
But
there.
I mean, what security is that? That is not great security.
They could only steal a handful of your stuff and not like a bus load.
A shame. The poor security guard in this one.
He's
Um,
actually capable
he
too.
tried. Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, he's doing his thing. Nope.
Normally they're bumbling and stumbling, so I completely forgot that he pulls the other guy's gun from him. I was like, this
Yeah,
dude's good, and then he gets
yeah.
shot.
And then he still gets shot.
Can
Uh,
I can I tell you something about threats?
sure.
There's a scene in this movie where the dad Steven walks up to David and he goes, I'm gonna take your balls and I'm gonna pull them off and I'm gonna shove them up your butt, and then they're gonna where's the actual sentence here? What does he say? Oh, then they're gonna come out of your mouth. Like, if anybody ever threatens you like that, they're not serious. I'm
No.
sorry. like I'm gonna take your balls off, I'm gonna shove them in your butt, and they're gonna go out your mouth. No, you're not. It's just, I know you're like, don't mean that, but you're not gonna do that to me. Like, that's just, it's, yeah, that guy, he made threats and was not prepared to back them up in any way. That's what you should learn. If you're
Well,
gonna make a threat,
technically, that's actually very realistic, I guess. Like, and not movie dialogue, but more realistic because most people sound like that when it's the real world and they're just angry and reacting. They
oh yeah,
say, "Stupid, I will do this and do this." And it's like, no, you won't.
I'll drop you like third period French. But yeah, like, listen, so I was a bouncer, and it's like, anybody who threatened me with that, it's like,
Yeah.
get
It's
out of
like,
here. Like, come
yeah.
on. It's always the quiet ones. Or like, it's just these things happen so fast that, yeah, anytime someone's like, listen, I'm gonna come back here, I'm gonna take you out. I'm like, get out of here. Like,
Yeah,
that,
sure. Just yeah, no, it's like big mouth. Just just yapping away. Like
uh,
barks louder than the bites. Like you
yeah.
say, it's usually the quiet ones.
And then he pounds his chest to give himself bruises. And then the daughter believes it. Oh man. David's
Yeah,
who is this guy? Like, he's been bouncing around from foster home to foster home. He does know plants, and he's a drug dealer in a cartel with a gang, but he's also kind of charming, but he's a psychopath. Or is he a sociopath or a psychopath?
sociopath. He's a sociopath. Like
Yeah, because he's
yeah,
pretending to be something.
yeah.
Like,
And a good manipulator.
very good. Like, he's like the talented Mr. Ripley here, but like, he just can't contain it with poor Gary. Like, that's like the first, like, yeah, that's when you know that he won't be successful, like the Joker, because he's too
Exactly.
much of he snaps Gary's neck.
Snaps. And I mean that scene is like, whoa. Like when that also happened, it's like, okay, did that just happen? It was so fast. Like the ending, just fast. I love how it just ends. Again, classic 90s trashy thriller. It just ends.
I think you and I should direct a movie where it's the end of a 90s thriller and then the family has to deal with the aftermath.
Yes. And then it's like, I mean, that's what I love about Wild Things. It actually gives you like, the whole, oh, so this is what happened, like like a prequel, but then we
Yeah.
just do a sequel, but like that.
You,
So
you
it's
know,
like, so
it-
here's another movie for you, just quickly while the credits roll. Like this is like the aftermath. This is the sequel. There you go.
okay. We make up our
And
own
poor
story.
Toby, poor Toby, I think he goes dark. I think he goes dark. He goes to therapy, but that doesn't really work because it's the 90s and therapists are terrible back
Yeah.
then.
And you're a wimp.
And they don't know what. And like, so he makes an imaginary friend. And it just like it goes dark. And Toby starts like looking at his stepsister while she's in the shower. So we do a callback of the shower and things just go dark. You're
Oh
looking so
man.
excited for this. So excited.
Okay. This is what we do. We just, it's the aftermath, but the entire movie, we're just explaining the most insane things that happened. Like, and then he stole that Jello truck and kidnapped me for 3 days. And then you had to chase me down to Tulsa and rescue him. But then you got involved with the cartel and then you cheated on your wife. Like, just like like what they're going through. And then, like, and then you just, once you learn what they went through and how they're dealing with it, like, that'd be a pretty funny movie.
It could. It could.
We lost
Maybe,
8 dogs.
maybe Wahlberg had like a long lost brother that got separated in foster care. That happens a lot.
And then he had a twin.
And then he comes back for revenge.
Oh my gosh, Fear 2.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, he basically wrote like 4 premises for it just now.
it writes itself. We could do it now.
Exactly.
Like, older Reese, older Marky Mark, they still look great. And he finally finds out who. Whoa.
Yeah, amazing. I love it. Yeah. Twin brother comes back for revenge on older Reese that is now in a grunge band.
She's in a grunge band
Yeah, she's lead of a grunge band.
in 2024?
Band's called Scud.
No, they should make it 1998, but it's just them now.
No, it's still, yeah, it's grunge because we're being nostalgic. So
No,
we're
yeah,
bringing
true.
the 90s.
It's good.
So it's 90s Seattle again, just
I
now.
miss like Garbage and Hole and Veruca Salt.
Oh, dude, so much.
There's some like
But
legit rock bands back
yeah,
then.
I still listen to all a lot and Garbage a lot.
Celebrity
But
Skin.
I'm a little grunge at heart.
I just want to see Reese just rip it on a guitar
Right?
and not like walk the line. I want to see her be like, like how
Well,
grunge
like,
people sing.
yeah, exactly. And like skin showing. And then like her aging mom is in the crowd and she's like, slutty enough for you, stepma.
I'm still working out trauma for when I got attacked and my dog was beheaded at my house. And then she
Poor
looks into the crowd.
Toby, that
And
poor little boy. He's actually so sweet when he goes to like, like get the thing from the dead guys. He's like bending over, just like his whole body, his whole maneuver. Like, oh, shame, like with this poor kid.
oh,
Imagine. Oh,
remember when she goes up to him? She's like, when are you going to be old enough so I can ravage you?
yeah,
But I think she's just hurt. And that's the way she jokes. And it was the 90s.
exactly. Exactly. Like, I mean, she says it in the beginning when she says it's a power thing. She just wants to, she wants to feel some kind of control and power because, yeah, her life is, well, I mean, she's well off.
Yeah, she got
Holy
the
moly.
car.
That swimming pool,
Yeah.
that like house with the swimming pool on the, wow, like one of those almost looks like an overflowing swimming pool. So yeah, but it shows you like you can have all that, but if mom and dad's not there, I good luck. Good luck to you.
Oh, man.
Kids
It's,
need love, love and attention. and a good balance of that.
There's a
It's
lot of
well
themes to
balanced.
explore. There's more themes to
Yeah,
explore. Like, you know what I like about R-rated ones like this is I feel like there's more themes to explore, which is the same for R-rated rom-coms. Like
for
for like
sure.
for like the PG-13 movies like this, like it's just so superficial, right? You
Yeah, it's very
can't
fluff. Yeah.
explore any of that. But in this one, like there's
There's
like
a
just
lot going on.
there's several different kinds of parenting issues. There's kids who grew up in the foster system who were lost and became sociopathic murderers. There's a good kid who just doesn't have anybody pointing her in the right direction. There's another one who, gets attention because her mom's always out, probably had a bad relationship with the dad. Like there's I'm not saying there's
It's all overprotective versus the opposite of that, like just not having any of that as a kid, and like the potential of what that can do to your reasoning, the things that you think you need and the things that you think you ought to have, or like will give you agency or whatever. I mean, to expect kids to figure that out is, I think, very unfair. Like they need guidance with these kind of things. But then at the same time, also not the overprotective vibes, because they will tell you to step off. I mean, they will. That's just good luck to all of you with your future
uh,
teams. Good luck.
and I want to say that scene where he's like, "It came from someplace good. I wanted to protect you," and she's like, "From Gary." He's like, "I can't be
Gary,
sorry that I love you." Like they
so
should show that
manipulative.
in classes to people and be like, if anybody ever says this to you, run away.
Run away.
But I think
Right.
that's something that really annoys me. Like there's a lot of weird things in this movie that ring true because there's a lot of people in this world who have just been, straight up assholes. And they're like, "Oh, that's just, boys will be boys or Hank will be Hank or Debbie will be Debbie." And it's like, "No. Like,
No.
it didn't it's not like yeah, they just blew up your car and blew up your house and decapitated all your dogs, but they got a good soul. It came from they wanted to protect you." And you're like, "No." Like so
No.
there are people who are like that, or and there are people who defend people like that. So, you know, I'm not saying you should pass this movie around in classes to teach people how to, you know, who to avoid, but it's just odd that there's a little bit more to it than
Exactly.
most of these types of films.
For sure. That for sure. That also actually just reminded me when we were talking about like, yeah, like all the crazy stuff that he does when he etches nickel forever,
Oh yeah, forever.
nickel forever into his chest. Like, woo, here we go. Here we go. Act three.
Is this the first time he's done this though? It just seems like he's a guy who would have done this before.
Also, I mean, yeah, like remember the Chucky doll? Like when the
Mm-hmm.
dad comes and see the shrine, there's a Chucky doll. Did you see the Chucky doll? Like part of the whole shrine that he has there for Nicole, and with the dad finds like her underwear and stuff, and that like daddy's girl, where you said David's girl, that bracelet. There's a Chucky doll. That was funny because like you look at him and you're like, why would he have a Chucky doll?
I mean, Chucky
So yeah,
appeals
I'm
to
thinking he's
people.
done this before, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. Like but I guess this is like I think sometimes people do love crushing innocence too. Like there are people like Scud who like to destroy innocence. And as
Yeah,
much as Alyssa Milano is acting tough, she's still a kid, and like they
exactly.
really like abuse that. So
Yes. Yes. No, I mean it's a heavy movie. There's some heavy stuff in it. Um, like they yeah, it's this wild ride of a story, and the third act goes bonkers. Like, especially, I mean, by the time, yeah, she stabs Wahlberg in the back, that face of his, oh my word, it's hilarious. Like, she's like,
oh yeah.
and I mean, soon after, he just flies out the window, and it's just, but yeah, there's some actually really like serious stuff that they address. I mean, the whole like
He sells
sexual
getting
assault
stabbed in the
of
back.
Alyssa. I mean, that's crazy. With a peace pipe.
Oh man. I sent you that gif from Four Brothers where Mark Wahlberg punches Chiwetel Ejiofor, and he sells the hell out of that back punch too. So
I love that. Yeah, that's brilliant. Back punching acting.
just,
That's phenomenal. The
he
way he
just
walks, like so funny.
oh man. But yeah, it's sorry to interrupt you there. Just you made me think about the his reaction to getting stabbed in the back. It's just a deep breath.
We
And
should start, yeah, like making a list of our favorite back assaults.
all right, let's just do a draft of our favorite back punches. What do you think?
But yeah, I need to go and investigate that first. That might take a while.
No bullets,
The next three
punches or
months
stabs.
will be punches, stabs, anything, a back assault, any assault on a person's back, but that is funny.
There it is. Okay, so back assaults that are hilarious.
Yes. Like this one, because I mean, it wouldn't have been so funny if Mark didn't do that face. Like,
The movie turns, right? It goes from legitimately scary to just,
yes,
do you think that was on purpose though? Like it goes from legitimately scary to like not even 11 to 13, the dog head, a child murders somebody, Scud gets shot in the head. Mark Wahlberg gets thrown 35 feet. Like he joins the hilarious Death Hall of Fame with like what Marion Cotillard from The Dark Knight Rises, where she's like,
yes,
uh,
yeah. Yes.
he gets thrown. But it's crazy. So I watched the house. I eyeballed where the house was. When that guy's going through her window, she hits him with the umbrella. That's about 12 feet right there, at least, to where the guy falls along the fence line, because I
Yeah.
just measured it. Mark Wahlberg flies past that, and he's still basically going parallel with the ground at
Yeah.
this point. He's been over 12 feet in the air, and he hasn't like there hasn't been the natural progression of weight like taking you down or drag.
No.
And when he lands on
It was
that
weightless.
rock, he almost comes at it from like a 90-degree angle. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he rolls. He completely like he like so he legit spends 30 some feet in the air and then just drops. And
It
there's
just
no
falls.
bouncing or rolling.
Yeah. No, it's like he somehow like, yeah, hit zero gravity or something and just kind of like went straight. Like, I don't know, a freaking pillow. And then all of a sudden, I mean, it's amazing. Like I love it because it's so funny, but it does mess with its own a bit. It does.
He just
But I
flunks on the
enjoy
ground.
it
Boom.
because now I can't wait for that ending. Like, I'm like, okay, I sat through this and I can enjoy this bizarre ending where Mark first pulls his face. It's like, and then flies through the air. And then the movie's done. Just done. Roll credits.
Oh man. And that's why this movie works for me, is because there's enough, like Scud is so pointless, but then there's some really mean moments, but then there's some very funny moments, and then there's some well acted moments. So it is like a roller coaster. Like this
It
is
really
not,
is.
the worst thing I think a thriller can be is boring or predictable.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
this one is none of those. Like
No,
where it's going, and the trailers showed you where it was going, but you didn't know where it was going.
exactly. Exactly. It still surprises you. I mean, even now, I've seen it and it still manages to surprise me every time. Like, because I just laugh at it. I'm never ready for the dog, and I'm never ready for Mark's like death. Like, I'm just
And that guy is such a wimp. He gets his hand drilled and he's like, "Oh man, I gotta go to the hospital.
yeah. Like, I
It's
think
really bad."
they just needed to, yeah, get characters out of the way, but couldn't have this family just kill all four like cartel members. So they had to get them out of the way. So they just wrote like, okay, go to the hospital now. Bye. You're out of the picture.
Like, just let
Like,
Brenneman
yeah, I
hack his
mean,
arm off, right? And he's like, "I gotta go."
I gotta
Um,
go.
and also, she's like all ripped up in this movie too. Like that was a surprise at the swimming pool scene. I was like, "What?" Like they like
Yeah,
mommified her big time. So like,
yeah,
yeah, let her hack a dude's arm off because she does nothing during the final fight.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I read a lot of criticism about the third act, and I get it. I get it. Like it does kind of start to fray a little bit. But I don't know, it's still enjoyable, you know? Like, I mean, it's also, I don't think anyone think, like, oh, let's watch this movie and like gonna take it so super seriously, even though there's some serious stuff in it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I mean, it's like, yeah, the director, or was it the director that said, it's like Fatal Attraction for teens, you know? So like, yeah, sure, you can say, you know, there's some lessons to be learned or whatever, but it's not really, you know, that big a deal. Or like the point, just making a provocative movie. I think that's more the point.
And
It's provocative.
one
Gets
thing
the
I
people
didn't touch
going.
on, at least this wasn't like a married dude who like meets a lady, but the lady's crazy. You know, it's, and then the wife is put in danger, but she stays with him. Like, this isn't that. This is about an overprotective dad whose girlfriend starts dating an old dude, and it goes horribly sideways. So at least you
Yeah,
had a dude stalker in this, not a you know, like
yeah, female. Yeah.
a crazy female, because you know this one had like single white female at the time, and the crush, like married
Yes,
dude has a babysitter,
yes.
married dude has a nanny. um this one was just a horrifying every parent's worst nightmare,
Exactly. Exactly.
and that's nice.
Yeah.
And
No,
listen, if this movie stuck the landing, right? If it was like a good, serious ending and then it ends, it wouldn't be remembered. Like if that
exactly.
scene at the doorbell wasn't in there, if that wasn't added back in later, if that thud noise wasn't, if the backstab, like the dog, this movie would just be another movie. Like it works because of those scenes.
I agree. I think that's what makes it memorable. I think if you, I mean, those are the scenes that people will bring up every time. People who watch this movie and remember it. I think it's just etched into your head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those parts that make it fun again. Because I mean, it's a thriller. Like it needs to be thrilling. It
And it
needs a
does.
some element of fun. And yeah, it does. It does it on its own. It does it its own way. I mean, I enjoy it. It's a like a thriller.
I guess you know you could watch this in different ways. Like you could watch it the way I watched it when you were 14. Then you could watch it in a different way when you're 21. And then when you become like a parent, you could watch it in a different way. Like it's kind of evolves with you as you get older. It's like a Ferris Bueller type film. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
all
exactly.
right, hey,
It's fun.
do you want to move on to our house? What is it? House,
Oh,
not
home
siege thriller,
invasion. Home invasion.
home invasion draft. Oh, hey,
You want to do that?
yeah, real
Or do you,
quick. I want to do that, but I want to read all the comments that I got on Facebook from
yeah, I was
everybody.
like, we can actually just read their comments and like, yeah,
Okay.
like share our own if you want. We can, because wow, the people left comments.
Yeah, we
That's
got a
awesome.
lot. I'll read through
Awesome.
it fast. I'm
Cool,
a
cool, cool.
fast reader. All right. So Allie Maxwell, favorite. So I asked her favorite Reese Witherspoon performance, favorite Mark Wahlberg, favorite siege thriller, and favorite 1996 villain. Allie Maxwell said Reese from Election, Mark Wahlberg's from Instant Family. Allie loves Cape Fear, the 90s remake. And her
Nice.
favorite villain in 96 was Carrie Ells from Twister. Well, I'm
I
not
love
sure.
it.
Yeah, it made me
Love
laugh.
it. Yeah.
James Donovan said Sweet Home Alabama, the Good Vibrations video, Inside Man, and then he said Martians from Mars Attacks, which I love. John
Yeah.
Wheeler, Johnny Numb, said Freeway, Boogie Nights, and he said it's a three-way tie between Night of the Living Dead, Green Room, and VFW. And his favorite villain is Bob Wolverton, Keith Sutherland from Freeway.
Oh.
Aaron Newer said Wild and Election. And then he said Boogie Nights and the Fighter. And then Night of the Living Dead, Seven Samurai, Kingdom of Heaven. And then he said Joey Pants in Bound, Shooter McGavin and Happy Gilmore, and Ed Harris in The Rock.
Nice.
Billy Boyko gave some more love to Sweet Home Alabama, then The Departed, then Aliens, and then Shooter McGavin. Jesse Deal,
Yeah, and a
Legally,
couple of Shooter McGavins.
yeah, those were
Yeah,
popular. Then he
yeah.
had Legally Blonde, The Other Guys, Assault on Precinct 13, And then he said Alice Krige as the Borg Queen in Star Trek First Contact as his favorite villain, which I love.
Ah,
Then
nice.
Buddy Deal said Pleasantville, Pain and Gain, very close second, the other guys, Aliens, and then Agent Fleming from Beavis and Butthead Do America. Reese William Underwood said Walk the Line, The Departed, 30 Days a Night, and then Aaron Roy from Primal Fear. Ryan Groth said American Psycho and Pleasantville, The Perfect Storm and Fear, Hush, which is a good pick. And then he
Yes.
picked Ghostface and Lilith from Bordello
Yes.
of Blood.
Love.
Hush is a good pull.
Absolutely.
Joe G said Cruel Intentions, Renaissance Man, which Wahlberg's good in. He's actually like real. I like him in that a lot. Then he said Toy Soldiers, and then another Roy from Primal Fear.
Oh.
Mark Passanelli, Legally Blonde, and Sing, and then he put Shooter and Rockstar. Oh, that's another fun performance from Mark Wahlberg. He has more range than you think about. All right, Die Hard is Die Hard and Panic Room, and then he put Edward Norton as Aaron in Primal Fear. So I think we have 3 of those now. So he's the lead.
Yeah.
He's the lead villain, which is a good pick. And then Thomas L said Walk the Line, the big hit, Army of Darkness, and Peter Stormare in Fargo.
Nice.
That's a
Yes.
good one. Yeah, we got a
Yes.
lot of picks here. This was good.
I love it. Okay, so what's your favorites? What's your favorite Reese Wahlberg?
Is The Dark and the Wicked a home invasion? No, it's not. I would say You're Next.
It's a siege.
Yeah, because like it's laying siege on the house.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I would say You're Next, The Dark and the Wicked. I watched that Knock Knock movie with Eli Roth.
Oh, wait, you're doing the home invasion thing now. Oh, right.
Wait, which one? Oh, I should do my
Oh,
list.
no, I was asking,
Okay.
what's your favorite Reese movie? What's your favorite Wahlberg? Sorry.
Oh, Election by far.
Okay.
Yeah, because I
Oh,
just
she's
think
one for me.
she's
I love her.
perfection in that. And then my favorite Mark Wahlberg. I just think he's like, man, The Fighter, Departed, but he's hilarious in The Other Guys.
I love The Other Guys. Yeah, I love him in The Other Guys. I love that movie. That's my pick for sure.
My favorite siege thriller is Assault on Precinct 13, maybe, or Green Room.
Mine's Rick.
Oh, yeah, that's really good. And Night of the Living Dead. But
yes,
yeah,
Night of the Living Dead, Rick, and I mean The Dark and the Wicked for sure.
and then my favorite 1996 movie villain, man, Edward Norton.
It's a difficult one for me. Like
Edward Norton hit me pretty hard. Shooter McGavin's a great pull. You know what? This one, I went and watched this movie, and Ed Harris is a good pull too, but I think I got one. Maybe the answering machine from Swingers, but I won't stick with that one. And the Frighteners. I think what was it? Was it Busey and let me find their names. Let's see. Yeah, Johnny Bartlett and Patricia Bradley, like the 2 people who like fell in love, but that freaked me out in 96. Was like crawling through the walls and just blowing people's heads off, and like where it went really dark. And then Jeffrey Combs is running around as Milton Dammers, like he's crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Johnny Bartlett.
Okay, cool. That's a good one. Yeah, there's so many movies actually. Like 1996 was an interesting year. It was quite an interesting year. Yeah, I mean, I also obviously like the Scream Killers. Great villain. What a great combo. So yeah, I'll always be partial to picking those. But I mean, we had some good ones.
My
oh my
mom's
God.
gonna kill me.
Mom and Dad's gonna be bad. Oh, it's good.
I'm losing a lot of blood here.
My favorite villain from a 1996 movie is Nancy from The Craft.
Oh yeah, Fairuza.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Nance.
That's it. Yeah, another Nev Campbell.
Poor messed up Nance.
Robin too. I love that cast. That's a good cast.
Oh yes, great movie.
Robin
Nev
Tooney's vibe is cool. I've always liked. She had a real chill vibe that I liked.
Yeah. I always liked her when she popped up, because she'll just pop up in something and I'll be like, oh my gosh, yay, love that face, love seeing that face.
Fairuza Balk and the Water Boy really confused me growing up because I was used to her just being Fairuza Balk from The Craft, and then I saw her be like the love interest and the Water Boy, and I'm like, what's happening?
I loved it. It was so unexpectedly wonderful.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed her in Waterboy.
and she like
Like,
fixed up his lawnmower, and it went really fast.
yeah,
Oh man,
dealing with that mother.
oh
My boy ain't playing no foosball.
god. Mama says, Mama says. Hey, well, where can people find? Actually, I want to talk about a couple of cool home invasion movies that
Okay, yeah. Let's.
um can we do a real fast draft so I can run one
Okay,
because
cool.
I
Let me
like this
just
idea. I'll let you go
I
first.
actually, yeah, I suggested this and I didn't even actually go and look at it. So
All right,
let
well,
me
I'll
just
pick first then, and I'll take your next.
okay, cool. Um, I'm definitely gonna take Hush because I
Oh,
love Hush too. So shout out to Ryan. Hush is a great siege home invasion movie. Love it.
that's really good. Okay. You know what came out really recently that I liked? I'm gonna take No One Will Save You.
Oh, I love that movie. My favorite movie of last year. I love it, love it, love it, love it. It's so good. I can't wait to watch it a million times more.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take Jordan Peele's Us.
Ooh, I like that. Would you say Signs is a siege thriller?
100%.
Okay, Signs.
Becky,
Oh, good pick. I love them. I love those two movies. They're so much fun.
right? A lot of
Oh
fun.
man. Okay. You got some good ones here. I'll take the crazy French film Them because you were
Nice.
here. That one's crazy.
Nice.
That one's nuts because you answered the door.
I'm gonna go, yeah, let's at least one old school Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, I mean a classic, always good.
I'm gonna take
Always a
another
movie. I can just put that movie on and watch it like anytime, right? It's just like an anytime movie. It's just so good,
classic, and it goes by so quick. I love it. I show it to my
right?
students all the time. Uh,
Nice.
I'm gonna take another French insane film. I'm gonna take Inside because that movie's crazy.
Oh, I struggled watching that movie. Woo! That was, I mean, it's good, but yo, that was a lot. It's a lot of blood. It's a lot of blood. Inside was rough.
Yeah, too much. But those French like horror new wave films that came out in the late 2000s, mid 2000s, they hit hard. Martyrs, High Tension, Inside, Frontiers. Like,
Yeah,
what are you guys smoking?
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, yeah, since yeah, I'll then actually take high tension because that was also a good controversial one.
Jeez
I
Louise.
liked it. I liked it. Did you like high tension?
Yeah, I loved High Tension. I did not know where it
Yeah,
was gonna
right?
go.
Yeah,
And
exactly. And people were like, but it does make sense because I keep it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, stop thinking literal.
just enjoy it.
Yeah, like, it's that suspension of belief. Or what do you say? There's a phrase.
Yeah. No, that you're right. That's what it is. I saw a video the other day that was it was a 30-minute video about how the alligator from Lake Placid could have never gotten to Lake Placid. And you're like, guys, like I'm sure the science is great, but
Whatever.
no one believes
Everybody
that.
knows. Everybody knows Lake Placid is based on a very true story. Come on. Like that totally, completely happened exactly that way. Even Betty White was there and everything.
Yeah, you just
I don't know. Yeah. How
yeah.
many still? I want to do another one.
All right, go.
The original Funny Games.
Oh
I
my
love
gosh, yeah.
Funny Games movies, both. I enjoyed both. Like, but yeah, I'll take the original Funny Games.
Okay, so I get one more then.
Yes.
Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna take the bonkers knock knock because it's Keanu Reeves doing it's Keanu Reeves doing Nicolas Cage.
That's a terrible movie.
I know. I know. And like, but the joy that I had watching Keanu Reeves, like I just said, go Nicolas Cage. Like I was
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
him,
yeah.
I was like, he's being a lot right now.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
And it's just so absurd. And there's a bit of humor to it that I like. And it's just, you never see Keanu in anything like that. So
No, you don't. It was very interesting.
I remember watching it and be like, well, this isn't it. But I just remember,
Yes, isn't
like,
it?
but it did it, I'm telling you,
It was much.
when a movie can just make me be like, whoa, Keanu, like as long as it's not really boring, I'm fine with it. And Knock Knock
Yeah.
was not boring for me because I was like, this is crazy. Man,
Yeah, it was. It was a crazy movie.
we got some good films here.
Nice. And I mean, like, yeah, we can go on and on, really. There's so many good ones, but I think that's a good list.
Yeah, a good list. Well, hey, Zanani, where can people find you? Wait,
I'm
if you look through the people of your door, you're
That's
outside.
right. I'm right outside your front door, entering the code. I'm still on Twitter at Zanandi. Yeah, socials. That's just, yeah, hit me up on the socials. Listen to our other movies, films, and flicks episodes. We've got loads. Listen to the Deepest Pod. And yeah, catch me around ordering cake at a bar in Seattle.
That and a sandwich for 8.25. That's really good.
Right?
Like
Wow.
it's like a $4 sandwich.
That's amazing. But I wonder how good that sandwich is, because that bar, I mean, it's a bar. I don't
Well, there's a
know.
place called El Camino's in Texas, in Austin, that has great burgers, and it's a bar.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that. I mean, we also have bars that serve food and it's good, but I'm just saying that bar.
Yeah, and that
I don't
sandwich they
know.
ordered. Like,
I
give me a
don't know.
panini press, Like, you don't order that kind of sandwich at a bar. Like, just get
No.
whatever's on your floor, let me have.
Chocolate cake though at a bar. I've never. That's bizarre. I don't know that. We don't have that here. There's no cake at bars here.
I love everything that's crazy. And it's like,
No,
man,
I mean, so
I
I'm
can't
like,
get over that cake.
I do want to do that. I do want to order a cake at a bar. See, this
Barkeep,
movie is screwing up my expectations of the real world.
chocolate cake, barkeep.
One, one piece of chocolate cake and a shot of tequila. Let's go.
I can give you tequila.
That sounds like a terrible combination, actually.
Tequila and cake. Breakfast of champions. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, Zanandi.
Thanks, Mark. Always fun.
All right. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Zanandi Boetas, this is Movie Films and Flicks. We'll see you next week.